What, you finally realized? I thought you were smarter, but guess I was wrong. Yeah, I've been dating her. Huh? I was at a loss for words due to my husband's overly blunt statement, flustered beyond belief. Then, as he slammed the divorce papers in front of me, he announced his plan to take only our oldest daughter, Lillian, and move in with his mistress. We're gonna make Lillian a Hollywood star. I'm a good father who thinks about his daughter, right? After that, I'm divorcing you and gonna remarry Kelly. Not agreeing with his one-sided demand, the day to leave came a week later. Feeling the sadness of separating from her father, my second daughter ran towards him. However, as she approached, my husband whispered something to her with a half-smile and then simply drove away. What's wrong? What did he say? He said he doesn't need a useless ugly duckling. At those words, my thoughts froze. I was seething with anger. I was filled with a resolve to show them up someday, and I made a phone call to someone. 10 years later, I finally had the chance to return the decade of resentment to my husband. My name is Henrietta. My husband, Tyler, was 3 years older than me, and we met at a college. Tall and handsome, Tyler was always popular with the girls, but he took the initiative to approach me. Right after I graduated from college, we got married, and I soon had our first daughter. 2 years later, we were blessed with another girl, our second daughter. Their names are Lillian, the first daughter, and Maria, the second daughter. Our first daughter, Lillian, was always fond of models, and she dreamed of entering the entertainment industry. She enjoyed imitating popular stars and even put on little fashion shows, always entertaining us and her grandparents. How about it? I worked really hard to remember the lines from that drama we watched. Lillian is definitely gonna make it in showbiz. She's got a pretty face and she's quick to learn, just like her dad. Really? I'll do my best. Tyler always doted on Lillian, praising her for resembling him in looks and smarts, but he was cold towards Maria. Hey, Daddy, I want to be on TV too. For Maria. Well, I guess showbiz is not gonna happen. Tyler responded with a half-smile. And of course, that always shocked Maria. Why can't you say anything nice to Maria? I grew frustrated with Tyler's biased affection, and arguments were not uncommon. Lillian and Maria, both my precious daughters. It's wrong for a parent to show favoritism like this, let alone say it out loud. But then one day, Lillian expressed a strong desire to act in a drama, and after some research, my husband sent her to a child talent agency. Lillian is so cute, she's definitely gonna make it big. That's how Tyler confidently left Lillian at the agency, and as I watched in disbelief, Maria came to me. When I asked what was wrong, Maria expressed her desire to take lessons just like Lillian. I want to go to lessons too. I promise I'll work hard, please. Respecting Maria's strong desire to express herself and take on a challenge, I decided to send her to the same child talent agency as Lillian. The head of the agency was a former pop star named Kelly, under whose guidance my daughters pursued their lessons. The place was frequently visited by children aspiring to debut in showbiz and various industry professionals. Eventually, Lillian started as an extra but quickly showed her potential, and soon she was getting roles in dramas and commercials at a rapid pace. However, the feedback from Maria was the complete opposite of Lillian's smooth progress. Guess Maria just doesn't cut it. It's a waste of money on lessons, let's have her quit soon. It's only just begun, let's wait and see a bit more. Despite my suggestion, Tyler wanted to use Maria's lesson money for Lillian instead. To make matters worse, one day I was called by Kelly. There's really no hope for Maria. It would be wise for her to pull out now. What? No hope at all? But she just started the lessons not long ago. Those who are going to make it grow much faster. Compared to them, Maria's growth is slow, and she can't memorize lines. She won't last in showbiz with this performance. These harsh, cold words were delivered by Kelly. Maria, who was not very athletic and slow to understand, was bluntly told that this path was not for her. After experiencing this setback, Maria became increasingly withdrawn. Meanwhile, Lillian continued to achieve impressive results. When Lillian turned 10, she was chosen for the leading role in a heartwarming movie about a girl and her puppy. As Lillian became more famous, Tyler boasted to me as if his judgment was flawless, but I always retorted that it was Lillian's own hard work. However, Tyler started coming home very late around that time. He went out often, claiming work on holidays, and not only was he less involved at home, but he also spent less time talking with Maria. Lately, you don't seem too invested in Lillian, and you're hardly home. What are you up to? What? I'm consulting with Kelly about Lillian's future. I'm putting Lillian first. You take care of Maria. I'm going to have a serious talk with Kelly about Lillian. I felt a bit uneasy about their meetings on non-lesson days, but I convinced myself it was nothing unusual. Then, one holiday. While Lillian was out for acting practice and Tyler said he was working, Maria and I were alone and decided to head to the mall for some shopping. Just then, Maria suddenly tugged at my dress. "Hey Mom, look over there, that's Dad." Following Maria's gaze, I saw Tyler, flamboyantly dressed, getting into a car. And the person next to him, that's the lesson teacher. What? Next to Tyler in the passenger seat was undoubtedly the head of the child talent agency, Kelly. Their overly close distance and intimate demeanor sparked an unpleasant thought. Why are they together here? For now, I covered it up for Maria. Dad seems to be discussing something about your sister with Kelly. I see. After returning home, I confronted Tyler once the girls had settled down for the night. Hey Tyler, were you on a drive date with Kelly in town today? Tyler remained silent at my straightforward question. Hey, are you listening? Tyler didn't respond, and as the silence grew unbearable, I almost blurted out. Oh, maybe I was mistaken after all, thinking I might have overthought it. Just as I was about to speak, Tyler grinned and said, What, you finally realized? I thought you were a smarter woman, but guess I was wrong. Yes, I was on a date. What? I was so taken aback by Tyler's blunt words that I was left flustered and speechless. Actually, I'm dating Kelly. Being a former pop star, she always looks beautiful and I can see her as a woman, unlike you, an old lady. So you're saying you're having an affair? Don't call it an affair like that. We're in love. Tyler, unabashed, continued the conversation. Also, I'm planning to move in with Lillian soon and not with you, of course, but with Kelly, okay? Move? And taking Lillian with you, what do you mean? We're gonna make Lillian debut in Hollywood. I'm a father who thinks about his daughter, right? Lillian will definitely succeed. She'll become a great actress beyond the confines. Kelly agrees with this idea. Without any discussion with me, my husband unilaterally imposed his plan. This is ridiculous. What are you talking about doing things on your own? I'm divorcing you and marrying Kelly. We're gonna make Lillian a top star. And here, I've already prepared this. Look. He then showed me a divorce paper. Right then, Kelly called Tyler. After picking up, Tyler told me about the conversation and handed me the phone, leaving me stunned. Hello. We're getting married, so please finalize the divorce cleanly before we leave. Don't worry about Lillian, I'll make sure she becomes a great actress. After she abruptly hung up, Tyler, without any intention of further discussion, threw the divorce papers at me and went back to his room. Standing there dumbfounded, I pondered what happiness could mean for Lillian and how to explain this to Maria, who was left behind, struggling to find answers. And a week later. Finally, Tyler packed up and only took Lillian with him in the car. After much discussion, Lillian had decided to go with her father if it meant debuting. As a mother, I hesitated, but I couldn't find the words to counteract Lillian's firm intention. Lillian. If anything happens, always contact me. And not just lessons, make sure you keep up with your school studies too. Stop it. I'm gonna be a great actress from now on. I'm not looking at a small world like you, Mom. Lillian, acting more grown-up, responded defiantly, cutting off my words. Yet, I noticed her expression was clouded, and she seemed lonely. Maria, too, ran towards her father Tyler, feeling the sadness of their separation. But as she approached, Tyler whispered something to her with a half-smile and then drove away, leaving in an instant. The departure was a fleeting moment, leaving a hollow feeling in my chest. As I pondered whether I should have given Lillian my contact information, Maria suddenly burst into tears. Maria, I'm sorry this happened. You must feel lonely, right? No, it's not that. Dad said. Dad? What did you say to me just now? You're a useless, ugly duckling. We don't need you. Those words stopped my thoughts in an instant. What a terrible parting shot for our last farewell. Anger rushed to my head, but I tried to calm Maria, speaking to her gently. Maria, don't cry. There's nothing to worry about. We'll be okay. I immediately embraced Maria as she cried, trembling, and stroked her back. I offered her words of encouragement, but my true feelings were different. Anger at Tyler, disappointment, and the regret of not being able to stop Lillian from leaving. And the hatred towards Kelly, who not only spoke harshly to Maria during lessons but also disrupted our family's peace. My insides were boiling with rage, but having Maria there helped me maintain my composure. Tyler, the words you said to Maria. I will never forgive you. I felt that all the disrespectful things Tyler said to Maria were something I needed to make up to her for the rest of my life. Then I made a phone call to someone. Before I knew it, about 10 years had passed. I hadn't heard from Tyler or Lillian even once since the divorce, and I spent my days hoping for Lillian's safety and success. Maria grew up quickly, and now she was 18. I earned money through part-time and remote work, leading a fulfilling daily life. However, one day, when I returned from shopping, I noticed two people standing frozen in front of the building. I only glanced at them briefly, but I immediately knew who they were. Lillian! And Tyler! Tyler's clothes were worn out and tattered, and Lillian looked emaciated, far from the thriving young girl she once was. As I rushed towards Lillian, Tyler stepped forward, blocking me. And then he started begging. Henrietta! Please, you're the only one I can rely on. Let's start over. What? Why all of a sudden? After you left me and Maria? I looked around for Kelly, the original cause of all this, but she was nowhere to be seen. I was wrong. I never imagined things would end up like this. Please, let's start over. Then Tyler began to recount the events after our divorce 10 years ago. That day, Tyler had gone to pick up Kelly with Lillian. And the three of them had moved. Lillian, with her matured looks and polished skills as a child actress, initially thrived in their new environment. But then, shocking news about Kelly came. Everything was going well at first, until that woman's article came out. Tyler, his face contorted as he spoke, brought up something I also remembered. Yes, a few years after they had left, Kelly's scandal had caused a stir all over. Initially, the media were ecstatic about the genius child actress breaking into the international scene. Not only Lillian but also Kelly, the president of the talent agency and a former pop star, were in the spotlight. Tabloids, eager to grab any sensational story, focused on Kelly, who seemed to have a wealth of material, and conducted a thorough investigation into her misdeeds. As a result, it became clear that Kelly had engaged in sexual relationships with drama producers and executives of sponsor companies in exchange for using the child actors from her agency. When the tabloids exposed this and the industry's dirty secrets came to light, social media and the internet erupted into flames. Of course, this fallout affected Lillian, who was also a talent in the agency. People began posting harsh comments online, saying, "Is this the genius child actress? And if you look closely, her acting is terrible." For Lillian, who was right in the midst of adolescence, this criticism was crushing. Still, Lillian didn't let the opinions of others sway her and continued to audition for several years. However, as Kelly disappeared to avoid the media, Lillian herself lost her motivation and confidence. She gradually started hanging out with local troublemakers and was often picked up by the police. Naturally, Tyler, who had never heard such things from Kelly, was devastated when he read the articles. He gave up on Lillian's overseas career and decided to divorce Kelly. It appears he then took Lillian and returned here. "I just looked for work, but that didn't go smoothly either." "Of course not. You wouldn't know because you were there, but your and Kelly's reputations have hit rock bottom here. Especially after involving Lillian in all this." I glanced at Lillian, who now had a completely haggard face. Once always smiling brightly, Lillian was now 20. She looked visibly roughened, as Tyler said. "Every time I try to get a job, interviewers whisper, 'Isn't that the guy who had the affair?' I think most of the country known. As the worst man who had an affair and remarried Kelly, you're infamous. The tabloids wrote about you in detail." The tabloids had exposed not only Kelly's sexual transactions but also Tyler's affairs. The messy drama involving his daughter's career was covered not only on social media but also on TV news. I was even bothered by reporters coming to my place. "With all that noise and your face plastered all over the internet, it's no wonder you're struggling to find a job again." I tried to keep my distance from Tyler, who was still clinging on, and softly spoke to Lillian. However, Tyler, seemingly having more to say, blocked my way. "Please, Henrietta! Give me another chance! Hey, don't touch me! We shouldn't have anything to do with each other anymore. Don't be so cold! Let us live with you, in the penthouse of the condo you're staying in. You came all the way here knowing that?" I glared at Tyler. "Yes, Maria and I currently live a comfortable life in the penthouse of a luxury condo. Going back 10 years. After Tyler took Lillian and left, luck had been on our side, and good things kept happening. It was back when Lillian and Maria were taking lessons at Kelly's agency. I was watching over them when a man approached me. "Are you the mother of that girl over there?" "I run a modeling agency." "My name is Rodriguez," he said, offering his business card. I thought he was interested in Lillian, but it was Maria who caught Mr. Rodriguez's eye. Her posture, facial expressions, and control, not to mention her slender limbs. She would definitely succeed as a model. I've seen many people over the years, and I'm certain of it. "Would you consider joining our agency?" He proposed a career change to modeling. I wanted to respect Maria's efforts to pursue acting as a child actress, so I politely declined at the time. But after Kelly's agency wrote her off and Tyler left with Lillian and Kelly, I was determined to prove them wrong and thought that modeling could also open up opportunities for acting for Maria, so I contacted Mr. Rodriguez with high hopes. Then, Mr. Rodriguez gladly accepted, saying, "Please let me take her under our wing. I promise I'll turn Maria into a supermodel." Although it was an after-the-fact announcement for Maria, she responded positively, saying, "Since Big Sister is doing her best, I will do my best as a model here," and decided to undertake rigorous training as an aspiring model. Maria then became a high school student, and her first big job was a fashion brand catalog shoot. She displayed her natural beauty and uniqueness in front of the camera, and from that moment, her name gradually became known within the industry. Living a successful life, Maria mentioned, "I still hold a grudge about what Dad said that day, but it's good that he left, right?" It seemed Tyler was being erased from her memory. "That's why, after you gave up on us, Maria has brilliantly succeeded as a model, and her acting has improved so much she's established herself as an actress. It's ironic how the talent you denied is now shining so brightly." Damn. I looked down on Tyler with disdain and let loose. But you know, I'm not a monster like you. I don't abandon people so easily. Let's live together. As soon as I said that, Tyler's eyes lit up, and he blurted out, "Really? I truly appreciate it. Thank you, Henrietta." While he was tearfully expressing his gratitude, I retorted, "Huh? What are you talking about?" I was talking to Lillian. After cutting Tyler off sharply, I reached out to Lillian. The look of despair on Tyler's face in that moment was better than any actor's performance. "Remember what you said to Maria that day? We don't need a useless, ugly duckling like you. Well, we don't need a foolish and incompetent man either. Please disappear quickly." "Hey, wait! It's unfair to let only Lillian in the house. I've taken care of her all this time. Let me in too." "This is my house, and I decide who I invite. Goodbye." I quickly called the building's security to have Tyler removed. As he was escorted away, I made it clear that I would call the police if he ever approached us again. I then welcomed Lillian into my room, and we spent hours catching up on the past 10 years. Months later, while browsing news on my smartphone, I came across an article. It reported that Kelly, who had been hiding from the media, had secretly returned to the country but was now destitute with massive debts. Reading further, I found that repetitive cosmetic surgeries had ruined her once beautiful looks, and she had been duped by a man after her money, leaving her nearly deranged. Really, I can't believe someone like that was ever manager of a child talent agency. I gently closed my smartphone. From what I heard through acquaintances, Tyler had since lost his will to work, becoming a drunkard, and was eventually kicked out of his small place to live on the streets. I felt no sympathy for Tyler anymore, just relieved that Lillian was safe. As for me, Mr. Rodriguez, he had become my partner. Having married right after college, I had no work experience, but Mr. Rodriguez asked for my help due to a staffing shortage at his company. As a single mother, I was grateful and dedicated myself to the job. Surprisingly, I had the skills to handle the work effortlessly, and Mr. Rodriguez expressed a desire to move forward together both personally and professionally. Now, Maria, Lillian, and I live together harmoniously, and soon it will be 4 of us living together. Watching the sisters talk together, I smiled gently and opened my laptop. I had been writing a blog about the days I spent with Maria and reuniting with Lillian. It had caught the attention of a publisher, turned into a book, and I had gained significant recognition for raising a genuine talent. Hoping for continued happiness for Maria and Lillian, I cherished my own happiness every day.